That's it. If I run to the screen, you'll know that somebody else is trying to get in. So morning, everybody. Lovely to see you again. So I hear you've already done your legs. So you'll be thankful to know we're not really doing legs, we're doing hips and we're doing shoulders this morning. So I know one of the ladies already said she's got an injury. Always work to your level, to your challenge. I don't want anything to hurt. Yes, push yourself, but no strains, please. We'll have a nice stretch as well. So let's get started. I know some of you are practicing that breath. Let's go through it again. So let's just standing nice and tall. So feet hip distance apart. Sasha's brilliant trick. If you're in doubt, 2 fists between your big toes. Take your second and third lean forwards. Soften through that knee, so slightly bend through those knees. Now we're after a neutral spine. We'll go into that in a bit more detail, but if you tip these hips backwards and forwards and find that middle ground, and that's your neutral spine. So stack your spine above there, take those shoulders up, back and down. Sorry, there's still somebody coming in. Apologies. Okay, right, we're going to take breaths in. So take your fingers across the bottom of your rib cage. Cross those fingers over. Now relax through your abdominals. I know it's hard for us ladies to do that. Let it all hang out. Just let it all go. Now take a deep breath in. Breathing in through your nose. Now push that air to the bottom of your lungs. So you expand through that rib cage. And you should feel that tummy expand as well. It might take a bit of practice. Now breathe out. And you should feel it naturally retract. Let's go again. Deep breath in. Breathing in through the nose. Pushing that air down to the bottom of the lungs, expand through that rib cage, so those fingers should start to separate and feel that tummy pop out and release. Okay, one more. This time we're actually going to engage the core by raising up through the pelvic floor. So deep breath in, still relaxing through those abdominal muscles. Breathe out, feel it naturally retract. Now draw up through the pelvic floor as if you're holding a wing. Draw it up nice and gently, and you should start to feel a connection with your core if you're used to using your core. If you're not, it might take a little while. And relax. Okay, so we'll keep practicing that one. It's always a good one, right? So as I said, we're doing shoulders and we're doing hips today. I noticed hips last week were a bit of an issue for a few people. The sound effects were amazing when we got to the hip stretches at the end. So can I just ask you to start by taking your arms out to the side. Standing nice and tall, that neutral pelvis, relax through those knees, and we're going to rotate from the shoulders. So it's not a curve through the spine, it's literally a movement, so rolling forwards and rolling back. So palms as far around as they can get, and then back to the ceiling. So a nice rotation here. So at the same time, let's get the brains going. We're going to pedal out through those feet. So that's raising on alternate toes. So you're warming up through the knees, through the ankles, warming up through the shoulders. Try and relax through the neck. Still breathing. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And release. Now I know you've done some work on your legs today. We won't do many of these. Can I just ask you to stagger your squat as if you're on a train track, not as if you're on a beam? And take your arms nice above your head, stretching up, right, hips facing forward. We're going to come into a squat here, so a staggered leg squat. And as we do, we're going to, apologise. Start with your arms in cactus, and as you squat down, raise your arms up. So we're warming up through the shoulder girdle. Take your weight between those two legs, that neutral pelvis. So you should feel your shoulder blades at the back of your rib cage coming up and down. Nice and long through the neck. Sorry for those that done legs this morning. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So we're warming up through the hips, knees, ankles, and that shoulder girdle. Change legs. Those swap sides. Stagger those feet. Squat down. Just to show you, keep your weight in the middle. When you start standing up, it's in cactus, and as you squat down, raise the arms up. Don't let the front knee come over that toe. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and release. Okay, give those legs a shake off, especially those that work hard on your legs today. Okay, warming up through those hips. Take those legs wider, turn those feet out. And just to start with, without the arms, I'm just going to show you, we're just going to lunge, weight from one side to the other. So, neutral spine, not curling under, not arching out, nice and tall gaze facing forward. So just start warming out through here. Okay, now, when you're comfortable with that, we'll add the arms in. So as you bend that leg, you're going to sweep round and round to the other side. So again, warming up through those shoulders, nice range of mobility. Let's watch the position of that pelvis, so it's not arching out through the back. Bit of balance involved here as well. Oh, this is a good old-fashioned PE one, isn't it? From school days, it's anybody my age. But feels quite nice. Ooh. Okay, one more each side. And release. Okay, walk those feet in. Now we're just going to go into some normal squats, but what we're going to do is go into squats and then into heel raises. So feet hip distance apart, nice and tall, neutral spine. Take that breath in, feel that tummy expand. As you breathe out, connect with the core, come into your squat. So take your weight into your heels, keep your head and chest forward. And then I want you to raise up onto your toes and lower. And go again. So spot something in the middle distance, really helping with your balance. Switch your core on. And raise. If you find that your ankles and knees are going out to the side, grab your ball and put it between your knees or your ankles. So this is a good one for concentration. Coordination going on, warming up through the hips, knees, ankles, and starting to activate that core a little bit more. Let's go 2 more. Hopefully getting nice and warm. Last one. And hold. And release. Okay, right. So I don't know everybody's range of mobility. I'll give you the next full movement. So instead of roll downs, the way we can transition in Pilates is Pilates burpees. Much nicer than normal burpees. So I'll demonstrate a full one, but we can modify it if anybody does struggle with their mobility. So you're going to take your feet about as wide as the mat, standing nice and tall, reaching up, really extend up, and then we're going to take the bottom out and squat down, hands to the mat, out, one leg out, second leg out to plank, and then back in with the second leg, and then curl up through the spine and reaching back up. Okay, so if you haven't got a good range of mobility, all I want you to do is to reach up and squat down and hands onto the mat. Now, if you've got a good range, take it to the next stage, but challenge yourself. I don't want anybody to get injured. So if you've got full range, you're lunging back, second leg, nice plank, get those hips level, drop those hips down, nice and long through the neck, and then leg in, next leg in, and then roll up all the way to standing and reaching up towards the ceiling. So we're getting a really good workout into those hips. Looking for a nice flowing movement here. Push through those supporting hands. And raise, really grow tall as you can as you reach towards the ceiling, and then start again. Hands to the mat. So you should have a bit of a hamstring stretch as well. Into that lunge. Good stretch, good plank, nice alignment. Back in, reaching up. Okay, on your next one, stay down in plank. So growing tall, hands towards the mat. Out, out, hold it. And if you're in plank, we're just going to go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, lower one knee down and then the other and release. Okay. Well done. So that's how we warm up. Right, come onto your knees. If anybody's got problems with the knees, just put a cushion underneath if this position's too hard for you. I will try and give you regressions and progressions for everything, but happy that you put, cushions or whatever underneath your knees. Now, on one knee, take your hip above your knee and one leg extended to the side, if you can. Now, if you have problems with this, if you're so stiff, you can just take a wide knee stance. I'm going to try it. So, take your knee towards the ceiling, flex your foot, open out through these hips. You've got a neutral spine. Grow that spine out of those neutral hips. Now you're going to rotate this hip forwards and back. So everything else remains still. So you're rolling forward. So it's rolling from the hip and back. If you're struggling to see me on the screen, just put me on speaker view. I know some people seem to be squinting a little bit at the small square. So if you put me on speaker view, you should just be able to see me. So do you feel that? So you're rotating it forwards and back, so you should really feel it into this hip. But nice and tall alignment here. Okay, go 2 more. And release, okay. Relax through that foot, knee is going back to the ceiling. Take your hands forward. We're going to do a nice stretch out through these hips now. So you're going to take your weight up and over your hands, so take it forward. Keep that core switched on here, but still breathing. And then all the way back. So a bit like a child's pose, but with one leg to the side, and you should feel a good stretch in this inner thigh, into your hips. Drop that head down. Raise it up and forward again. So taking your weight onto your hands, so we're low bearing, which is good for us ladies. And then take it back again, so weight towards that heel. Go as far as you can for a challenge. And then back up onto your hands. Okay, now we're going to thread the needle. So the same hand as a straight leg. Push through this supporting hand, reach up towards the ceiling. You should still be able to see your fingers, so it's not going behind. It literally is, just so you can see your fingers. Okay, then scoop that through the supporting arm, and you're taking that shoulder towards the mat. Bend this supporting arm, so you're getting a nice rotation through the top half of your spine, and you should feel a stretch through that inner thigh, and your hips should be working quite hard as well. Okay, then come back up, push through that supporting hand, up again.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
And then scoop again, scooping it through, taking that shoulder towards the mat. Should feel a lovely stretch. And then up to all fours. Brilliant. Okay, onto your knee when you're ready. Nobody rush. In your own time, when you're ready, change legs. I'm just going to rotate through this hip again. So remember, flex that foot, toe pointing towards the ceiling, hips stay forward, open out through those hips, nice and tall through the spine, and then rotate from the hip. So it's not my foot that's just moving, the whole of this leg is rotating. So if you just move your foot, you will hurt your knee. So it's literally just from that. And it's not something we do very often, but it is a really good release. A couple more of those. And release. Okay, so that knee's going back to the ceiling. Relax through that foot. Hands forward. Then I take our weight forwards to start with. Dropping our hips a little bit, nice and long through the neck. And then taking your weight back towards that heel. Feel a good stretch through that inner thigh. Mobility through that hip. Let's go again, taking it forward, nice and long through the neck. What I mean by that is there's no pressure on the neck. You're not raising your head too high or too low. And back again. Yeah, a really good stretch. And up onto your hands. So, same arm as your leg. You're going to reach up to the ceiling here. Push through that supporting hand. Reach as far as you can. And then scooping it through. Taking that shoulder towards the mat. Bend the supporting arm. Take a gaze underneath that armpit. Let's hope you've had your shower after your first workout. And feel that nice stretch through the top half of your back. And you should feel it in your hip as well. Let's go again. Raising back up towards the ceiling. Pushing through that supporting hand. And once more, threading the needle.
Done on this side. Oh, not happening.
I love the sound effect. And then back up. When you're ready, onto your knees. Go back to that original size, so change legs. Instead of working to these shoulders a little bit more. Remember, open out these hips as much as you can, as if you're between two panes of glass. Take your arms up and up to the side of your head. Right, so take a breath in. As you breathe out, connect to that core, drawing up through the pelvic floor, and we're just going to side lean. Back to the center, breath in, breathe out to the other side. So you should feel, if you're really struggling with your hips, put your knee down to the floor, and let's go again. Use that breath to recruit the correct muscles to protect through your back. Do any movements, nice and flowing. And again, opening out through that chest. You should feel a good stretch through the hips, back to the center. Now rotate towards that straight leg, keeping those elbows wide. You might not get very far this way. Back to the center and rotating the other direction. You might not get far at all. And release. Okay, change legs. So you should really start to feel it through those hips, but in a good way. So arms towards the head. Remember, take that breath in first, relax through the abdominals as you breathe out, draw up through the pelvic floor before you make a move, and then we go inside. Now open out through that chest, so nice and wide through these elbows, back to the center. Remember to breathe out and down to the other side. Let's go again. Don't pull on your back, use your core. So you're stabilizing through the hips, stability through the shoulders, nice mobility exercise as well. And then back to the center. Okay. Now rotate towards that straight leg. Back to the center and rotate away. Nice and tall through that spine, so you're not constricting any of the vertebrae. And back to the center and release. Okay, grab your balls if you've got them, or grab a cushion. It out, it's not a problem at all. Just going to do some C curls. We're just going to get this core activating a little bit. Time. So, onto your sitting bones, that's the bony part of your bottom. Put your ball behind your bottom, just slightly away from it. Feet firmly planted, knees and feet hip distance apart. Nice and tall through that spine. Float those arms forward. So we're going to take our breath in, breathe out, and as you do, connect with that core and C-curl the spine and roll back. Now keep a gap between your chin and your chest. Keep those shoulders down, do not lie your ears. And then as you come back up, breathe in. So breathing in, breathe out, C-curl back, and forward. Now, go as far as you can, keeping your hips level and your shoulders level. If you've got the ball, obviously your core works a little bit harder to keep you level. I find if you've got back issues, this works much better than when it's got back issues. So keep going with that, using your breath to recruit the right muscles. See how far back you can go and forward. Use that breath. So breath in, breathe out, connect with the core, it's protecting your spine. C-curl back, keep that gap between your chin and your chest. And back up. Okay, one more like that. And then back up. Okay, this time, breath in, breathe out, C-curl back and hold it as you come back. Keep that gap between the chin and chest. Now raise your arms above your head. So you'll feel that hips, it's harder to keep that stability. Bring them forward and back up to sitting. Always come back to those sitting bones, get that alignment correct before you start again. Breath in, breathe out, see, curl back, hold it. Keep those hips level, raise those arms above your head. Now arching out through the top of your back. Bring them forward and up. Right, this time we're going to do it. We're going to open out to the side, back up and open out to the other side. So breath in, breathe out, see, curl back. And as you do, open up through that chest. So we're working into the shoulders here. Reduce the range of movement if you do have a problem in your arms, or stick with your arms forward. And again, roll back, open out, and back and up. So a lovely flowing movement onto the sitting bones in between each move. Set yourself up, breathe in, breathe out, see, curl, and let's go again. Sweeping the arm out and open, back, onto the sitting bones, and the last time on the other side. And back up to sitting. Fantastic. Okay, just take that ball away to one side, and we will be using it again in a moment. So extend those legs forward. So if anybody are real beginners at this, can I ask you to just put your hands behind your thigh? We're going to roll down to the mat like this. So if you need a little bit more support, I'm quite happy for you to do this. If you're more advanced, extend those legs forward, and we're going to see curl, roll down like we've just done, but all the way down to the mat into a full body stretch. So onto the sitting bones, extend those legs away, nice and long through the neck. Breath in, breathe out. Come off the sitting bones, see curl, gap between the chin and the chest, as slowly and controlled as you can, with a bit of tension in those legs so they don't raise off the floor, and then all the way down. Take your arms above your head into a full body stretch. So really reach away, grow a couple of inches, put some air between the joints in your body, and just feel that lovely stretch. And relax. Okay, bring your arms down to the side and take your knees up towards your bottom. Do one at a time. So check your position on the mat before we do anything else. So are your shoulders level? Are your hips level? Sometimes if you've got an issue in your hips, you might find that one butt cheek's up and one's down. Just try and get those hips level. Actually, just do a couple of hip tilts here. Do you remember last week we did the clock? So we've got a clock face on our tummy. Our belly button is 12 and our pubic bone is 6. Now just roll from invisible marble, tick it to 12 o'clock and then 6 o'clock. Hope that makes sense. Sorry, I rushed that a little bit. So you're just tipping that pelvis forwards and backwards. Okay, now get between that halfway point, and that's a neutral spine, and you should have a gap between your back and the mat. And that's what we're always aiming for, not imprinting into the spine or really arching out, just that gap, right? So take your hands out to the side. Now I'll show you the beginners to start with. We're going to do single knee drops. So if I'm taking my left leg, plant my right leg foot firmly into the mat. I've come onto a pointed toe on my left leg, and I'm going to take this knee out to the side and then drawing it back in, keeping this right knee as still as possible. So this is the beginners. Go as far as you can, keeping those both butt cheeks on the mat and those hip level. So if you're a little bit more advanced, you can come up to tabletop and do exactly the same thing. So taking it out to the side. So we're really working into those hips. Back up to center. Now try not to grip with your hands on the mat. Back through the neck and shoulders. Take the shoulders away from the ears. Use that breath to dictate the core muscles because they're working hard here. Push through that supporting foot. And check you're not rolling. You're not raising. You've got both butt cheeks equally onto the mat. Say beginners, keep your toes on the floor if you're more advanced. Also remember this position when we're in tabletop position. When you bring your knee towards your chest, it makes it easier. Try and take it out, level with the hips, it's at 90 degrees. Okay, let's go 2 more this side. You really should feel that core waking up and working into that hip. And relax, now change legs. Same thing on the other side. Firmly plant that knee, hips level. Use that breath to dictate the muscles you're going to use. So breath in when the knee's up. As you breathe out, you can lower, connect with the core. Remember not to grip onto the floor with your hands. Try and relax. You can take a quick peek at that supporting knee to make sure as one's going out, it's staying pointing up towards the ceiling. Go 2 more. And back to the center. Okay, extend the right leg away. Now bring the left leg into tabletop. Arms still out to the side, and we're going to do circles with this thigh, so not with the knee. Think about drawing a circle with the thigh bone. So as I breathe in, I'm bringing my leg across my body, and as I breathe out, I'm drawing the circle. So keep both hips level. If you are wobbling, reduce the range of the size of your circle. Relax through those neck and shoulders. Really feel that mobility within the hips. It might be a bit clunky to start with, but the more you do these, the more flowing the movement will become. Use that breath, using that core to dictate. So as you're coming across the body, breath in. And as it's going away from you, breathe out, draw up to the pelvic floor, connect with that core. 1 more in this direction. When you're at the top of the move or across the body, change direction. So breath in, breath out, connect with the core, and circle in the opposite direction. Remember, you're drawing the circle with your thigh bone and not with your knee. There is a difference. Get you to work deeper into the hip if you think it in that way. Right. Finish this last circle, extend that leg away and bring the other leg up to tabletop. So set yourself up before you start, make sure those hips are level, that knee's at 90 degrees, arms out to the side. As you take a breath in, your knee comes across your body, and as you breathe it out, take it away and start to draw those circles. So really concentrate on what your body's doing, keeping those hips level. As I say, reduce the size of the circle if you feel it's compromising your alignment. Drawing the circle with your thigh. You've got quite hips, you lot. Mine are making a load of noise. Okay, go. 1 more in this direction. Move back, top of the move. Take it in the other direction. Just remember, hips on the mat, not whipping through the fingers. Try and relax through the neck and shoulders. 1 more. And relax. Okay, if you've got a ball, grab your ball. Put your ball between your knees. If you haven't, you can use a cushion or you don't need to do anything. It's just sometimes it keeps you in alignment and it does distract you if things get painful. So, arms still out to the side for beginners. Pointy toes onto the mat, and we're going to breath in, breathe out, 2 knees to one side, keeping the head and shoulders on the mat. Back to the center, breath in, breath out, down to the other side. So nice, slowly and controlled movement. So this is for beginners. Intermediate, come up to tabletop, exactly the same thing, a bit like we did in the warm-up for the single legs. You're taking 2 legs to the side. Now you will raise your hip up when you're doing this. That's absolutely fine. Use that core, otherwise you will pull on your back and it will cause problems. So neutral spine throughout. Now really advanced, you can extend the top leg that you take into the floor. So keeping those shoulders on the mat and your gaze towards the ceiling, and then swap over legs. If you're really feeling wizzy today, you can do two straight legs. Not advised if you've got any lower back problems, this one. So find something that challenges you, not to strain you, just to challenge you. Have a go at something a bit harder than you'd normally do. Looking for a nice flowing movement. So working into the obliques here as well. Good strengthening through the core. Stability through the hips. And let's go one more each side. And relax. Feet down to the mat. Now drop the ball to your side, okay? No, sorry, I told a lie. Put your feet onto the ball, 2 feet onto the ball, and extend away. Don't worry if you haven't got one, you can still do this move. So both feet on the ball, extend the legs away, shoulders onto the mat. Now you're going to draw the ball up towards your bottom and at the same time open out through your hips. So a bit like a breaststroke move, and then push the ball away. So extend those legs away. Now heels onto the ball, pull your heels towards your bottom at the same time, open out through those hips. And then push them away, keep those hips level, nice neutral spine, relax through the neck and shoulders. And let's just feel like a really nice stretch. And a bit into your glutes as well. Let's just go 2 more here. See if you can drop those knees out any wider. And 1. And release. Now, I'll give you the basics. Just push that ball to one side. Put your feet together. Drop your knees out to the side as we're just doing. Put your hands down by the side. Now, I want you to hip raises here. So a bit like we do the shoulder bridge, but take a breath in. Breathe out. Now raise your hips off the mat. Squeeze those glutes and lower. Now, if you can, stay hovered off the mat and just do 10 here. Relax through that chest. So drop that chest down and really push those hips up. Knees out to the side.
Got my message.
Hello, Kobe Kim. Yeah.
5,
Right.
4, 3, 2, and release. Okay, can you hug your knees into your chest? Just hug your knees into your chest and bring your nose up towards your knees into a nice tight ball. And then extend away into that full body stretch. And then in your own time, just roll up to the side. Now, lady with a rotator cuff problem, you might struggle with this one, but you could give it a little go. So we're going to come onto the side. Your bottom arm is coming across onto the other shoulder. Top arm is coming to the floor. Now, I don't know why, but I find it a much better exercise if I extend my top leg, but you can do it with bent knees, hips and knees stacked. That means one on top of the other. So what we're going to do is just side press up, nice and long through the neck. And you might not come off the mat. I have to say, when I first did these, I couldn't even raise off the mat. But what we're trying to do is push up and then lower back down. Try not to come sink back into the mat. And we're going to do 10 each side. If you've got an injury in this area, literally stay down and just push without lifting up. So you're just putting a bit of tension into that arm. But if you can, push through. And then lower. Nice, slowly and controlled. As many as you're comfortable with, but we're aiming for 10. So we're really working into that shoulder, into that arm as well. You need good shoulder stability to be able to maintain this position. I think we've got 2 more. 2, and release. Oh, yeah, give those arms a bit of a shake. Come to the other side. Let's do it on the other side. So setting ourselves up again. So the bottom arm, the body onto the shoulder, top hand onto the mat. Stack those hips so they're on top of each other, not rolling back. If you find it more comfortable for this position for you, extend this top leg. And when you're ready, start to push up. Don't lock that arm straight. Lower down, try and hover off the mat and back up. Okay, if you're really struggling, if you stay on the mat and just push through that arm, just getting it used to that movement, that's absolutely fine. Everybody's different, everybody has different strengths. You're not competing with anybody else, just yourself. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Okay, come back to the side, and if you've got a ball, grab it. Ball underneath your rib cage, elbow to the mat, put your hand onto your head. You might have to have a little jiggle around with this to find what's a good position for you. So stack those hips so they're on top of each other. Now imagine you've got a piece of string on the front of this hip and it's pulling it forward. It's so easy to roll back. That takes your spine out of alignment. So imagine you've got this string and it's pulling it forward. Knees are stacked, feet together. So we're going to go into a normal climb to start with. Open out through this chest. Now remember, don't think through this waist. Push this top hip away. Just watch that. Just push that hip away. What happens is bottom hip raises and you've actually got your spine in alignment. If you relax like you're on the beach, your spine's doing this. So push that top hip away. Float the 2 legs up, 2 feet off the floor, and then we're going to open out into a clown. So be conscious of this piece of string, pulling this hip forward. Remember to breathe. So nice, slow and controlled movements. If you are wobbling, you can put your hand in front. Do a couple more normal ones, and I've got a slight change for you. Okay, you can either stay here, or you can do alternate clams. So float the leg off the other one, tap knee to knee, and then toe to toe. Get your brain working a little bit with that one. Just feel it into your glutes, but obviously mobilizing through this hip as well. Neutral spine. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And release. Ooh, okay, you need to give that top leg a bit of a smack. Right, I can hear some smacking going on there, right? So now what we're going to do, if you're a beginner, bend the bottom leg underneath, extend the top leg away, and we're going to crunch in towards your chest with that knee and extend it away. Right, remember to stack those hips, that piece of string pulling that hip forward. If you can put a hand in front if you want. If you're more advanced, extend both legs, bring them slightly forward of your body, and bring the knee in and extend it away. So your core's really working hard to keep you upright, to keep you stable. So you can put your hand down if you need to. Nice mobility through the hips. If it's not rocking and rolling, the rest of your body should remain still. It's just a movement from this hip. 5, 4, apologies to those girls that have done legs. 3, 2, and 1, and release. Okay, push yourselves up to sitting. Just sit cross-legged before we go to the other side. Just get a nice stretch there. Ooh, onto those sitting bones growing nice and tall. Just feel a lovely stretch there. And then let's go back to, let's do the other side. So, under your rib cage, elbow to the mat, head into your hands, stack those knees, stack those hips. Remember that string, pulling that hip forward, open out through the chest, put your hand to the mat if you need to. Float 2 feet off the mat, and then we're going to open and close. Now when you do this, you don't want to be rolling back and rolling off your ball, so keep those hips stacked. It doesn't have to be a big movement, nice and controlled. Remember this underneath waist, raise that underneath waist so you've got good alignment in your spine at the back. Remember to breathe. Okay, so when you're ready, swap it to the alternate, so you raise the whole of the knee off, the leg off, and it's knee to knee, foot to foot. So you're really rotating into that hip, strengthening through that hip, still keeping this hip forward, so you're not rolling back. If you need to put your hand in the front, you can do that. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, extend those legs away. I bet you can bend the bottom leg if you need to, or extend 2 away, bring your feet slightly forward of your body, and when you're ready, you're going to bring that knee to your chest and extend it away. Still raising this bottom waist, nice and open through the chest. So you should feel that core working into the hips. Feel it into my glutes as well. Still breathing. I'll tell you when to stop. I've got one client that has to wear a t-shirt, reminding her to breathe. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And relax. Well done, everybody. Just push back up. Let's do a little bit of stretching. Right. Actually, we didn't do this one last week, actually, so it doesn't look very elegant. Beginners, put your hands behind you, take your feet wide. I think we might have tried a little bit of this last week, actually. Don't sink like you're on a beach, still stay connected to the chest. And we're just going to take knee to the side and then up and over. And really relax through these legs. So, you can either stay there, slightly more advanced, you're sitting up. So onto your sitting bones, and doing the same thing, right? But what I don't want you to do is come up here. If you feel that if you curled up here, it's no good for your spine. You've got to open out through the chest, that lovely posture. You might find yourself walking forwards. I think I'm coming closer to the camera. And it should feel really good through those hips. Got your shoulders away from your ears. Okay, lovely. Okay, back onto your mats. Let's just do a nice mermaid stretch to finish. So coming to mermaid or Z sitting. So your front leg parallel with the front of your mat. Now, if you struggle in this area and you find you've got one hip really lifted, either get a yoga block, sit on it, or sit on a cushion. Yeah, try and get those sitting bones down towards the mat, sitting nice and tall. If you've got a ball, you can do this with your ball, put the ball to the side. If not, you can put your forearm to the mat. So what you're going to do is as you push the ball away, you're coming up and over, getting a lovely stretch down here. If you've got knee problems, this leg, you can extend it away. Okay. Ooh. Should feel a lovely stretch. And back in. And let's go again, up and over.
Ooh.
Back in. Okay, so put your ball towards this knee, push the ball away, and take your weight forward. And if you haven't got a ball, just reach forward with your hands. You should feel it deep into that glute, a nice stretch. And release. Okay, change sides. So get that position correct to start with. So front leg parallel with the mat, bending the back leg. Try and get onto those sitting bones, sitting nice and tall. Hand out to the side with a ball if you've got one. So you're going to push this ball away and you're going up and over with. So also you've got core working as well to maintain that stability. If you've got knee problems, you can always extend this top leg away. And then draw it back in. Let's go again, up and over. Get a good stretch through that hip, through the shoulders. Sitting back up. Okay, ball to this knee, to this front knee, 2 hands on the ball, push the ball away, take your weight forward, drop your head, and draw it back in. One more of those. That should feel a really nice deep stretch. Push it away, drop the head, and draw it back in. Okay, just sit cross-legged. Very quickly. Just drop your ear to your shoulder. A nice stretch here. Keep the rest of your body still. Now roll the head forward. Let the weight of the head take it forwards to the other side. Ear to the shoulder. Roll it back to the middle. Now just let the weight of the head come forward. Nice extension through the back of the neck. And then very slowly raise your head up. And we're done. Is everybody?
Brilliant.
Fantastic.
That was great.
Great.
You are so good. I wish I could. It would be great one day to get in a room, wouldn't it, to see you all?
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed that. Okay.
Thanks, Michelle.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a good weekend.
Thank you. Bye.